We nodded at his silence like it was polite, not a scream disguised as stillness. Some people looked down. Others stared straight at her, as if her words were unlocking something buried beneath their own memories. Jenna told them about the letter, about the basement, about the cameras, and about how he once built a fake world beneath his floorboards, just to feel in control of something. And then she paused. He watched me live, she said softly, while he was dying inside. No one clapped. No one had to, because her words weren't a performance. They were an awakening. From that day forward, the listening place became more than a building. It became a habit, an intention. Neighbors started checking in on one another. Teenagers found safe corners to talk. Men who never cried in public began to admit they were tired. Mothers who always wore smiles finally said they felt alone. And Jenna, she found something else too. Something she never thought she'd reclaim. Her power. Not the kind that comes from shouting, but the kind that comes from knowing your pain didn't break you. It built you. She started journaling again, sharing pieces of her story online, not for validation, but for visibility. And the comments poured in. People from Lagos, people from Karachi, people from Birmingham, Cape Town, Nairobi, and Atlanta. I felt invisible too. I knew a Paul. He was my brother. This made me cry. Please don't stop sharing. And so, she didn't. Because for every Paul out there was a Jenna still trying to make sense of the shadows. And while the basement was sealed, its memory buried, its story lived on. Not as a horror story, but as a lesson about what happens when we stop seeing people as stories waiting to be heard and start treating them as problems to avoid. About how the most broken people don't always scream. Sometimes they just sit next door for 10 years, waiting for someone to knock. And most of all, about how healing doesn't always start with answers. Sometimes it starts with a name, a voice, and a community finally willing to listen. But just when Jenna thought the past was behind her, a package arrived. No name, no postage, just left on her front porch. Inside, a flash drive and a note. You haven't seen everything. Her hands trembled. Because what could possibly be left? What hadn't already been exposed? Was there someone else involved? Was Paul hiding more than just his pain? Jenna plugged it in, and what she saw changed everything. Jenna stared at the flash drive in her hand like it was radioactive. It felt heavier than it should, like it carried the weight of 10 more years. She didn't ask to relive. Her first instinct was to throw it out, to burn it, to pretend it never arrived. But curiosity is louder than fear. When you've survived darkness and lived to tell the story. She locked the door, pulled the blinds, and plugged it in. But curiosity is louder than fear. When you've survived darkness and lived to tell the story.